the best part about it was that I studied for absolutely free. And coming here, I realized that the market is super cooked. So by December last year, like exactly a year ago, I had zero interviews, nothing at all. The first offer that I received was just for
2 years ago, this guy was studying at a tier 2 college in India. 1 year ago, he had zero interviews while pursuing his master's in the United States. But today, he's working as a software engineer at Amazon and earning in six-figure dollars. And that's not even the most surprising part, because he literally studied in the US without paying a single dollar from his pocket. No fancy scholarships, no family connections, no viral moments, just a few decisions that completely flipped the odds. So in this conversation, we'll be breaking down how Jugal literally did his masters in the United States for free, his job strategy, which worked even when the market didn't, and that one move that accelerated his career more than any degree ever could. So if you're a student or an early career professional or anyone who is just wondering whether the US is still worth it, this conversation might just save you years of trial and error. Enjoy.
Hello, Jugal. How is it going? All good? Back in
all
US?
good, all good. Yeah, in the US right now, it's
Yeah,
getting cold out here, but yeah, all good.
yep, winters and everything. That's true. To set up a bit of context for the audience, Jugal has been my school senior. We were in the football team together, and since then, the journey has been pretty massive. He did his undergrad in India, worked briefly as a software engineer in Bangalore, did his masters in University of Illinois, worked at VC-backed startups, and now working as a software engineer at Amazon, while also boasting massive Instagram following of more than 150,
Yeah.
around 150K followers, LinkedIn and YouTube as well. But a lot from me, Jugal. The audience would just love to hear 1 or 2 minute introduction from your end, and also that Business Insider post mentioning about your job at Amazon. Like, how has it all happened in the last few years?
Yeah, so to be honest, my life has changed a lot in the last 1.5 years.
Hmm.
You summed it up pretty incredibly. Like I was in my undergrad in India at VIT
Hmm.
Vellore. I
Yeah.
did in computer science, and then I briefly took up a job in Bangalore at a startup,
Mm.
like not an early stage, not a late stage, kind of a mid-stage startup called
Yep.
FamPay back
Yeah.
at the time. And I worked there for almost a year and a half
Hmm.
before I decided to move to the US. So moving to the US was kind of always on the books for me. Like I've always wanted to go ever since my undergrad. I even got into Caltech during my undergrad, but
Hmm.
decided not to go because I was super paranoid at the time.
Okay.
Yes, that is the thing. And yeah, and then I moved to the US, completed my master's at University of Illinois,
Mm.
Urbana-Champaign. And the best part about it was that I studied for absolutely free. And that's something that I tell a lot of people that, hey, you don't need some flashy scholarship to, get into all these universities with scholarships, with funding and all of that.
Definitely.
And coming here, I realized that the market is super cooked right now. So
Hmm.
it's still
Yep.
not better. It's
Hmm.
getting better, is what I'm hearing. But it was bad when I was about to graduate. So by December last year, like exactly a year ago, I had zero interviews, nothing at all. And that's when I decided let's change and flip the script somehow, take matters into my own hands other than just simply applying.
Yeah.
And I changed a lot of my strategy, decided how I want to reach out to people and all of those things, which ultimately led me to my job at Amazon. I'm sure we'll cover more about that in the conversation.
Yep.
But the
Definitely.
strategy that I shared with Business Insider, so they saw one of my posts on
Huh.
Instagram and on LinkedIn, and they were like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, we would want to interview you for a story if you would be up for it." And I was like, "This was not on my bingo list, but I'll take
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
It's a big achievement." And when they
Definitely.
did that, when they reached out for the story,
Mm.
that then it all happened, and that's how I got into business. And I'm super lucky to be there, super grateful. I know not everyone gets a chance to do something like this, but I've been grateful enough to have an opportunity like that.
I could go on and on with the talking points through this introduction itself, but I think the first fascinating point would be just studying in the US for free. And I know you have already covered this in a lot of your videos. And if you could just explain that TAship angle, which you talk about a lot to our audience as well. How does that work in the US and how it's encouraged for students who may be concerned about the financial aspect to apply and maybe do a master's and pursue their dreams also?
Yeah, sure. So before I moved to the US, I didn't know about TAship. I didn't know about external funding sources. All I knew was,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there are scholarships that you can potentially get if you apply early in
Hmm.
early decisions, because that's when most of the scholarships are given out. But I was super late in applying. I didn't really get um,
Hmm.
any scholarships that way. Even I was supposed to go in fall 24, that's August of 24, but I
Mm-hmm.
ended up going in January because my admit was deferred by the university that I wanted to go to. And I
Got
was
it.
like,
Hmm.
okay, I'll take it. I'll just work a little extra in India.
Hmm.
But I was not actively applying for scholarships or anything like that.
Huh.
2 or 3 weeks before I was due to come to the US, we had a group, like our entire batch had a group on WhatsApp where everyone used to talk. So I got
Mm-hmm.
a contact of few people through that, and we were just talking about different things, about all the expenses that there are in the US and all of those things. And they mentioned
Yeah.
that someone from our batch got full funding for the next semester. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, hey, how did it work? Like, was that a scholarship that we didn't know about? How did it happen?
Yeah.
And my friend was like, no, he became a TA in XYZ course, whatever. And that's when I learned about TA. So, like, that was 2 weeks before I got my, like, I was about to do my, like, board my flight. And
Okay.
that's when I
Yeah.
started researching a lot about it, about how are different people getting this at different universities. I came
Hmm.
across a blog by someone for Georgia Tech, which is another
Mm-hmm.
public university in the US.
Yeah.
And they had mentioned that you need to reach out to professors, you need to pitch yourself and all of that. So I started doing that. I was actually bugging a lot of professors quite a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but that did lead to a couple interviews. But all the professors told me was that, hey, it's not in our hands. The
Yeah.
department is the one who decides. We just give them the list.
Hmm.
So luckily, the first TA ship that I got was, I think, purely coincidental and purely luck, because
Mm-hmm.
I the room I was taking over from one of the person who was graduating that semester. So I was taking over a sublease. He was a TA for a different school, not CS, not computer
Oh.
science. He was a
Uh-huh.
TA for a different school. So he reached out. So I reached out to him like, hey, you are a TA over here. Can you
Yeah.
possibly refer me to the professor? And he was like, sure, I can do that. And he asked me for all of my achievements, whatever I've done. How does
Mm-hmm.
my experience align well with the course? I sent him all of that, sent him a written draft, a purpose statement, and all of that. And he forwarded it to the professor, and it kind of became a match made in heaven, because my experience is exactly aligned with what the professor was looking for. And
Oh.
since it was not computer science department, in that
Mm-hmm.
department, the professor gets the final say on who gets hired. So that's how
My
I got
God.
hired for my TA-ship for the first semester. And
Uh-huh.
then so on and so forth. I learned more about different courses and how I can TA for different courses. And it just went on for all 3 semesters.
So, like your TAship paid your entire fee. Like, is
Yes.
that justified to say that?
Yes. So
My God,
out
yeah.
of pocket, I didn't really pay anything.
And that includes all your living expenses as well?
Yes, I get a stipend as well. So I used to
Huh.
get a stipend
Hmm.
of $2,900 before taxes, which
Uh-huh.
after taxes is about $2,500 per month, which
Wow.
is
Okay.
more than enough to cover living expenses
Hmm.
in a college town like Champaign. If I was in New
Yeah.
York or if I was in San Francisco, it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
But my rent was like $450, and my other living expenses were like 500, 600 on top of that. So all in all, about 1,000, $1,100, and I was able to save a lot more money. So
Got it. Yeah, so like that's pretty incredible in its own. But you also mentioned that towards your last year in the last semester, you didn't have any interviews and you started taking
yeah,
matters in your own hands. Like what I know from how US is different from education in India, that we US doesn't have its placement cell or college
yeah,
placement cell It's basically the students have to take the responsibility of applying and have to find their
Yeah.
jobs. So essentially, all of the students would have at some point realized that they need to do something about it. But what do you think you had done differently that helped you stand out from the rest?
Yeah. So my goal was always to like, hey, let's get a job first. Let's
Mm-hmm.
secure your future and then worry about getting a better job,
Hmm.
which I did all of those in those exact steps. But the first offer that I received was just for $80,000 and it was in
Okay.
Chicago, which is not really enough to live in Chicago on that much salary.
Hmm.
But when I got that offer, it kind of boosted my confidence that, hey,
Hmm.
okay, I now have something and I can go on and go for it. So that's when
Yeah.
I started changing and thinking about it in a lot of different ways because now that I had a little bit of peace of mind that, hey, I do have a job now, I can think about it and everything. So I started looking at startups in a different way. Rather
Mm-hmm.
than going to their website, looking for their careers page, not a lot of early stage startups have that. So it was also a trend right now. I think it's true right now as well. A lot of the new funded YC companies or any accelerator companies are making their software open source,
Okay.
which essentially means that they have their entire code base on GitHub. So
Yeah.
I used to figure out which companies have been funded recently. I used to go to their website, figure out if they have GitHub. If they do, I used to go ahead and actively contribute towards their GitHub. By doing
Okay.
that, the
Mm-hmm.
founders noticed me.
Yeah.
So I did this with like 4 or 5 different companies. All of
Huh.
the founders noticed me because it's very small. Like they are maximum a team of 5 or 4 people. All of them noticed me. I got on a call
Hmm.
with most of them, and that's how I was able to get 3 different startup offers, like within a span of
Wow.
a month.
Huh.
And that really changed the game. And I ended up picking one of those startup offers, moved to San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
and started working there for like about 2.5, 3 months
Yeah.
before I got my eventual Amazon offer from Amazon
Hmm.
as well. But yeah, that was like instant. So that's one hack that I started using differently. And all this time I was also posting on LinkedIn actively, like what I've been working on, what are my projects, what I have done
Hmm.
in the past. So my LinkedIn had a presence. So when I was
Yeah.
contributing to their GitHub and when I reached out to them on LinkedIn using my account,
Yeah.
they knew that okay, this person is technically savvy enough and he
Hmm.
has been contributing to our project. So both of those factors played well.
Yeah.
And once that happened, I started receiving more and more callbacks because of my LinkedIn presence from different startups, different recruiters, and all of that. But yeah,
That LinkedIn presence point, I can completely agree. Means I also am a big follower of your content. Every time I open a LinkedIn, it's now a routine that I see your post in either the 2 or 3 scrolls, and I'm
yeah.
actually fascinated by how do you manage it all. Like you be currently be working as a software engineer, creating content on all these multiple platforms. I'm sure you would have some systems in place to manage it all. Like how do you manage it? Like, could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so it's actually really funny. I was one of the worst people at managing my time
Mm-hmm.
uh, when I started my master's, like in my first semester. I could not even manage my TAship and my like assignments and everything together. And at that
Hmm.
time, I was not even creating content.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
like, okay, something needs to change. I started noticing a lot of my professors here
Hmm.
and how they managed their time because they were like spending super well time with their families. They had kids and everything. And I was like, okay, how are you doing it? So I started noticing my professor who I was TAing under, and
Huh.
he, like, his entire life was managed by his calendar. So if he loses
Hmm.
access to his calendar, he probably can't manage anything. So that's how I started changing my way of managing things as well. I started doing everything that's on my calendar. If it's
Uh-huh.
not on my calendar, I'm not probably doing it. So
Hmm.
I had time blocks for almost everything. Okay, if I need to go to the gym, this is the ballpark of when I go to the gym. If I want to
Yeah.
do an assignment, this is what I'll do. And I still follow that to date. So like
Okay.
if I'm supposed to be in office from 9:30 to 5:30 or 6 or whatever, I keep a buffer of 30 minutes each side. And after
Hmm.
that, coming back home, just relaxing, resting up a bit. And then I also have a scheduled block on my calendar for, okay, this is when I need to think about, create content, edit it, whatever.
Yeah.
and publish it out. So that's how I'm managing right now. I don't
Okay.
know if there's a better way to do it, but this has been working good for me so far. So all good.
Hmm. It's definitely working in my opinion. So kudos on
Yeah.
that.
Like
I've seen, yeah, yeah,
I
please go on.
always tell myself that if it's not on my calendar,
Hmm.
it won't happen.
Hmm.
So everything on my calendar is something that I do. And if it's
Hmm.
not there, like my Google Calendar is my life right now. I've been meaning to
Okay.
switch to Notion calendar, but that didn't really happen. But
Hmm.
if it's on my calendar, that's the only thing I'm doing every day.
Like I can assume, I can imagine you planning your day before the night before,
Yeah.
and like just putting all the time blocks in that. Are you
Yeah.
able to like ballparkly follow those time blocks? What happens with me is that while creating content or while doing something, I tend to have some sort of a flow or something of that sort, which I can't restrict to a time block. And that's why it doesn't always work for me, but I agree that having a deadline is definitely helpful. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
So I tend to follow it in the ballpark. Sometimes it
Mm,
goes like 30, 40 minutes here or there.
mm-hmm.
But I think that's fine because if you follow everything every day, so like probably at this time, my content for the next week is also planned. What
Wow.
I'm going to
Mm,
post, what I'm going to shoot, and everything. So everything of that sort is planned. So even if I
mm.
miss 30 minutes one day, I know that over the weekend or over the entire week, I can probably recoup that time when I wasted that. But yeah.
Got it, got it. And like I have seen you talk about a lot of AI and automation as well.
Yeah.
Uh, you also have some of the N8N workflows present on your YouTube channel, which personally I've also found very helpful, especially the Gmail workflow one.
Yeah.
What all aspects have of your life have you tried and automate through AI?
Um, to be honest, not a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
have been meaning to get a lot into automating a lot of those things, but the
Mm-hmm.
only things I'm automating right now, and not even using AI, are like posting my content on YouTube, like just
Okay.
scheduling it in
Hmm.
advance, that kind of automation. But another automation is like my home automation and stuff. When I
Got it. Got
walk
it.
in,
Hmm.
my lights automatically start and all those things. But yeah, all of those kind of automations,
Hmm.
apart from the ones that I'm testing on Anytin right now and sharing. So
Yeah.
whatever I share on YouTube are some things that I actively use because even though I have a job right now and everything,
Hmm.
it's always better to just, just stay in the zone, stay in the job market, just keep up to date with what's happening even though I'm not actively looking for a role or anything like that, but it's always better to do that. So I just keep using all of those automations as well.
It's always helpful. It's always helpful. And in what I have an opinion about you is that you create content and all of the social presence which you have. Generally, what I have seen is that it also is a big leverage for starting something of your own, like in terms of a business venture or founding something for yourself. Firstly, have you ever thought in that direction? And if yes, what
Mm,
fields have you considered?
Not yet. Honestly, I've not thought about starting a business on my content. I'm not very keen on monetizing my content as such.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to do is just trying to help 1 year old version of me, right?
Hmm.
And whoever falls into that bucket gets help automatically. So
Yeah.
I try to create the best possible value for myself 1 year ago. So if I was looking at things
Hmm.
1 year ago, what would I want to see? What would
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
would
Hmm.
have wanted to see differently than what people are making content about? So just that. And I've not yet thought about a business. I don't know if I will anytime soon.
Hmm.
So I don't really have an answer for that. But yeah, I do see creators all around like making and selling courses. Nothing wrong with that. Some courses do provide insane value. I
Hmm.
highly respect those creators. But then there are also some people who just try to tell the most basic things and charge people
Yeah.
money, the hard-earned
Hmm.
money and everything. So I've one second. So I've not yet decided on if I want to start a business doing this or not. Yeah.
Like not necessarily doing content business or selling courses, but have you ever considered starting a startup of your own, any field?
Oh yeah. So I was working on this thing with my friends back in India where we were trying to essentially automate how payments work with these big companies because
Mm-hmm.
I had experience in fintech and my friends also had experience with that. Nothing happened, it just fizzled out, but it kind of gave me a lot of learnings on how to start a business, how to not do something. A lot of my friends are doing their own startups, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting a lot of learnings from them. But if I do
Yeah.
start something, it probably would be some kind of SaaS because that's the
Yeah.
sexy thing right now, and that's probably something that I would do.
Yeah, like that. SaaS is definitely the sexy thing right now to do. Contrary to the YC opinion, do boring businesses.
Yeah.
Still, SaaS stands out as sexy. I agree on that. Just shifting gears right now. Another thing that I really appreciate about you is that I see you one day talking to, let's say, the immigration lawyer. Next day, I see you talking to a founder. Next day, a content creator, and all of these just spark a curiosity of me. How do you network? Basically, how are you able to reach so many different people from so many different fields and make yourself heard? Like, is there any secret 101 tips you do or follow?
Yeah. It's easy for me now because I
Mm-hmm.
have an online presence and I don't, so it acts as my credential
Mm,
everywhere I go. But before that, when I didn't have an online presence and when I really wanted to reach out to people, I would act. So, like, this is one LinkedIn hack that I used to use a lot before I
mm-hmm.
started getting content is to actually go on to people's profile, like whoever is in your niche, whoever you want to talk to, and try looking at their posts. What are they posting
Okay.
about? What are they talking about? And just leaving a thoughtful comment, like contributing to them with a thoughtful comment or engaging with their posts in some way,
Mm,
talking about their, like if they've commented on some other post, write a thoughtful reply to their comment and whatever.
mm.
So everyone who writes content on LinkedIn, posts, comment, or anything is somewhat of a content creator.
Definitely.
And when you are a content creator, this is something I realized later on, but I used to do it before. But when you're a
Mm-hmm.
content creator, if someone engages with my posts, every one of my posts, I would notice that person. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Ayaan has been commenting on my posts for like the last 10, 12 posts. So I'll be much more likely to respond to you when you eventually reach out to me rather
Mm-hmm.
than I am to someone who I do not know.
Yeah.
So that's what I started doing. And I started
Mm,
looking at all of their posts, commenting on it. And then when I eventually reached out to them asking for a coffee chat, or maybe just like, hey, I saw you posted about X. I'm really
yeah.
interested in the field of X as well. I would love to pick your brain for like 10, 15 minutes. And that's how I started the conversation and got the ball rolling. And it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to not ask for things directly, or
Got it.
maybe even
Mm,
in the first
mm,
interaction.
mm,
First
mm, mm, mm.
interaction should always be you providing them with some free value or something, and then you can ask for something in return because they are not going to just do you a favor based
Yeah.
on you messaging them. So,
Yeah. That's definitely helpful. And I also can realize I have made that mistake of asking in the first conversation itself. So definitely some lessons for me in there. But what I also struggle with is that once you have set up a connection, how do you maintain those connections? Like, let's assume that I'm talking to you right now. Maybe like if I want to maintain my connection with you, if you were in my place, how would you maintain that connection? Let's say after 1 year or 2 year, if I reach out to you or something of that sort, that connection would be lost, in my opinion, if there is nothing in
yeah.
between. So, how do you maintain connections? Is there anything that you do specifically for that?
Yeah, so it's actually very important to keep communicating with anyone, like even if you need or do not need something from them over
Mm-hmm.
the long term. And the best way to do it for me was like every morning, and I still have it on my calendar. Like I spend 30 or 40 minutes on LinkedIn just doom scrolling different posts, maybe from
Mm-hmm.
the connections that I have or anything. And I
Mm-hmm.
just keep engaging with their posts. You do not need to actively message them or do something like that, but just
Yeah.
if they're posting about something or anything, just keep actively engaging with them. And if they don't post,
Uh-huh.
whenever there's an event or a festival or like
Yeah.
maybe that like Christmas is coming up, just send them
Hmm.
a Merry Christmas or something like that. And that's how you keep the connection going. Unless you want something from them in the near future, that's how
Yeah.
you just keep the conversation going on, and that's how you create long-lasting connections. But if you need something from them, like let's say 15 days or 10 days down the line, that's when you
Hmm.
start ramping it up a little bit, start
Hmm. Hmm.
asking them a little more brain picky questions on
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
something
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
they would
Hmm.
have to think about and answer. And since
Yeah.
you have already talked to them once, they might reply 1 or 2 days late, but
Hmm.
they will still ultimately get back to you with the answer.
Yeah. That's true. I can definitely apply on that. Speaking about maintaining connections, and the thing which was running in my head while you were speaking was also friendships. Uh, Being in US, how do you see friendships? Like, I think you might have friends here in India, while now you might also have friends in US. How difficult or how easy is it to stay in touch with your friends and maintain friendships there?
Right. I'll be very honest with you. Like the older I've grown,
Mm-hmm.
the smaller my circle has become, and I wouldn't have taken it in any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say I probably have 5 or 6 friends that I can really count on
Mm-hmm.
for almost anything. Half of them are in India and half of them are here who I went to university with.
Got
The
it.
rest of
Hmm.
them are friends, but not people who I would count on for almost
Hmm.
anything. Like, okay, if there's something that relates to them, I would ultimately reach out to them and I know that they would reply because
Yeah.
we are friends, but not for everything. And I think that's true for almost everyone in life. The older you grow, the narrower your circle gets. And the narrower it gets, the more you know that, okay, these are the
Hmm.
people that you can really count on. And I think those kind of friendships are way more important than having like 100, 200 friends
100.
who really can't depend on anything.
True, true, true. Completely agree. And friendships, mentors, do you have any mentors as of yet, or how do you reach out to or search for mentors currently?
Yeah. I think so I don't know about you or how you have mentors, but I'll be very intrigued to know about that as well.
Uh-huh.
But for me, mentorship only exists for different things. Like for different things,
Yes.
I know
Hmm.
different people who I can look up to.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
For
Hmm.
example, if it's my work at Amazon, I know a person who works at Amazon who has been working at Amazon for the last 6, 7 years. And I know I can go to him with any questions I have, with any doubts or whatever. When
Hmm.
it was me in my master's year, I
Hmm. Hmm.
knew that my roommate, like my flatmate, he started his master's 1 year before I did.
Got it.
So
Huh.
he kind of knew almost everything, all the nuances before I did. So I would just go up to him, ask him whatever questions I had.
Hmm. Hmm.
The
Hmm.
same goes for if I'm building my project. I worked with this guy at the startup where I worked in India,
Hmm.
and he's great at what he does. So if I have
Okay.
any kind of technical doubts or any kind of questions with
Hmm.
regards to my career, because he's like 6 years up ahead in the industry than me, I would
Wow.
go up to
Hmm.
him, I would just ask him and everything. So I think it's very
Hmm.
important to to have a distinction between what mentors mean. You cannot really
Hmm.
have, like, at least for me, I cannot really have one mentor for everything. It needs to be different people for different things that I reach out to.
Yeah, like I also agree on that. While you were speaking, I resonated on that aspect that for content creation, I look up to someone else. For product management, I have someone else to ask about.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that's the same with me and our end as well. So I'm aligned on that. But do you do something outrightly for someone? Like, let's say I look up to a creator who I don't know personally, but
Yeah.
have you ever had such a scenario where you wanted insights from someone and you reached out to them for mentorship? They replied and you got some answers which
Yeah.
you needed.
Yeah, it happens. So again, the same goes for that side of things as well. When
Mm-hmm.
you want to ask someone for something, you provide them with value first.
Got it.
So I have reached out to people in the past, asking them for help and stuff. But before doing all of that, like you don't shoot arrows in the blind. You identify your target, you know that
Mm.
person, you kind of know what would make them reply better,
Okay.
and you figure
Mm.
all of that out before you reach out to them. So that's
Understood.
how I
Huh.
did. So like I used to constantly engage on their posts. There was a creator
Yeah.
I looked up to and everything. Then
Mm.
ultimately one day he himself messaged me from his side. Like I didn't even reach out to him because like he was noticing all of these things and I was
Okay.
creating content as well. So he reached out
Huh.
to me asking that, hey, do you want to do a podcast with me? So I was like, sure, this is a
Wow.
very great opportunity and I
Huh.
wouldn't pass on that.
Huh.
And that's how we started getting the ball rolling. And once
Yeah.
that podcast happened, because I
Huh.
provided him with value by commenting on his posts, by even doing a podcast for him for absolutely
Mm-hmm.
free and whatever, like didn't even flinch a little bit, decided and agreed on the time, whatever he wanted. So that was
Yeah.
insane value that I gave to him. And he was like, okay, whenever I replied or whenever I ask him something, he replies to me. So I think
That's
that's how it should
actually
be.
that's actually amazing. Yeah. But speaking about life in US, life in Amazon, uh, could you just run us through what a typical day in your life looks like?
Yeah. So most of the mornings I tend to wake up around 7:30 and directly
Mm-hmm.
head to the gym.
Okay.
Once I am done with my workout and everything, I come back home, get freshened up, head to the office. Like these are weekdays, typical weekdays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Head to the office, come back home, like do all the work in the office till like 5:30, 6, whatever.
Yeah.
Come back home, game a bit on my PS5 that I just got,
Wow.
and then I just start thinking about content ideas and stuff and start recording things. But there are some days when I don't feel like recording anything, I'm in a slump. So I would
Mm-hmm.
just binge watch YouTube or Netflix or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's most likely it. If we don't have any plans to go out anywhere, like I have a bunch of people from office or anything like things like that. So sometimes we might just randomly decide that, hey, after office, let's go hang out at some place, chill for a bit and whatever. And then yeah, rest of it is winding down, talking to family. So yep, I
Yeah.
am grateful that I stay busy. That way, like I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have a lot of free time throughout my entire day. But I think that's how it should be, and I'm super grateful for that. Like it's a privilege to be busy, is how I would put it.
I agree on that. Like me too, living in Bangalore right now, I'm also living alone, and this is something which keeps me occupied to like creating content, thinking about
Yeah,
startups, talking to people. It's a good thing to do, and as you say, a great blessing to have. And
yeah,
your weekends, I'm assuming, would be similar, like working on
yeah.
content.
Weekends are like almost devoted to content.
Mhm.
About 5 or 6 hours every day on the
Every.
weekend, like
Mm.
is for content, unless I'm going out somewhere.
Yeah.
But even if I go out, I keep thinking about, okay, what can I record here? What can I shoot here and everything. So that's how my
Yes.
brain is working right now. But I
Mm-hmm.
try to batch create content over the weekend so that if someday I don't feel like posting, I still have something to
Have
post.
something to
Because
post.
I think that's really important with content creation that you have to be consistent. You cannot really
Mm.
take a break. I don't know how good or bad that is, but at least in the niche that I create content in, that's how it is. So
Yeah, like as I say, like because it's going giving the results, it's definitely something is sticking
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So kudos on that. I'm thinking that there are many people like who have just graduated from college who also aspire that they explore the side of outside of India.
yeah.
And since you have also experienced studying there, now working there, uh, what do you suggest? Should someone go via the master's route or likely apply for jobs? I know I've seen some of your videos podcasting people who have worked in Europe and then came to Harvard for a master. Uh, what do you think? Like, should masters be an option to consider or directly job applications?
I cannot tell you a black and white answer on that because no one really knows.
Mm-hmm.
The job, like I can tell you one thing is that the job side of things of directly coming for the job is getting a little bleak
Mm-hmm.
because they recently launched the $100,000 fee on
Yeah.
direct H-1B applicants from outside the US.
Yes, yes.
And it's like for us, it doesn't apply. But if you're coming from India or maybe somewhere in Europe directly to
Mm.
work in the US, your company would have to pay $100,000 fee to just get you here. So from that aspect, doing a master's might make sense, but you never know, 2 years down the line, they might scrap the work permit that they give after you complete your master's. And that's kind of not something that a lot of people can afford.
True,
So
true.
if you have so like I'll put it in two ways. If you have an admit from a very good university, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
top 10 in your field, so like top 10 for CS would be different from top 10 for MBA.
Yeah,
If you have an
definitely.
admit from the top 10 universities, if either A, you have a good scholarship, or B, you can afford it easily,
Mm-hmm.
then it is valuable for you to come.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Otherwise, if you're just taking an admit into any random university, it really is not worth it because you wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
get the payout of it nor here nor outside the US, like back home in India, because no one would know that university. So that's something that I tell almost everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But even after that, it depends on how much risk capability do you have? How
Yeah.
much are you willing to take a risk? Because US is one of the best places to be if
Mm-hmm.
you want to work in corporate, for example, or if you want to start something of your own, for example. I don't think there's a place better than this for anyone who works anywhere remotely close to tech.
Wow.
But
Mm-hmm.
it has its own cons with how immigration is right now. Like, obviously, I understand the point of view of why every crackdown is happening on immigration because America is for Americans and it will always be for Americans. And that's how it should be. Like, we are not trying to take it away from them. And it
Yeah.
is how it should be. And that's why they are doing it. And it completely makes sense from their point of view. But if
True.
you're coming
Mm.
and if you're thinking about all of these things, so you should just keep things in mind that US will always stay for people who are from the US, who are citizens
Yeah.
of this country. You will always be an outsider if you are coming from outside the US.
Mm.
It's the best because companies can easily find talent from local US talent as well. They don't really need to hire you, but you will have to
Yeah.
prove it to them that you are better than almost everyone. Only then it is worth
That,
it. If you think you're gonna stay mediocre, if you're just gonna keep doing what you did in India, then it really might not work for you.
I, yeah, like I got what I wanted to know from that. But if given a choice to you, you plan to continue staying in the US and settling there, is it?
I'm not sure. I've not decided on that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll stay here forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like settling down here because of my family back in India and
Yeah.
everything. But I'm not sure on how long am I planning to stay in the US. Or like I might even decide to stay in the US for like the next 20 years. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's something I still don't have an answer for myself. So
And
yeah.
it's not required also, I think, as this point
Yeah.
of life, you should have an answer. But
Yep.
if you were to just, as you said, you are trying to give advice to yourself 1 year ago. Let's say that you were back in India right now. What would a Jugal from 2 to 3 years back would have wished that he would have known, which you know right now?
Write more research papers, contribute to research work as much as
Oh,
possible, and start creating content 3 years ago because it definitely has changed my life. So these are the two things. Contribute
haha.
more to research work in your undergrad and start creating content then and there itself. These are the two things that I would have done differently.
Research was actually very unexpected. I haven't heard this one before, really. Uh,
It's because when you do research, so like think of it as like, okay, you're a news publisher, you're writing news
haha.
articles.
Uh,
You, if you
hmm,
if you want to become good at journalism, you need to write articles.
agreed,
It's the
agreed.
same thing for if you want to become good in CS, if you want to be known well in CS, obviously there are ways to do it by just becoming a software engineer, taking a
Yeah.
highly cushioned corporate job, but you won't be that well known. If you essentially like do some sort of research or
Hmm.
research work, it just opens a lot more doors for you.
Hmm.
Imagine all the professors, all the research labs, all the foundational labs, open AIs of the world, Anthropics of the world. All of this possibility is open for you. And
Yeah.
obviously, you can work as a normal software engineer in these places, but
Mm-hmm.
if you have some sort of research work in AI or in transformers and all of those things,
Hmm.
it's better for you. You get more publications. Your visa statuses are usually much easier to attain because you can get the extraordinary ability visas in most of the countries and all of those things. So I think
Yeah.
that's what I would have told myself 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. And content has, as you said, already changed your life.
Yeah.
So that's a big leverage to have too. And yeah, like that's pretty much it. I to just end it off, I would just want to know what are you looking forward to as of yet? Any major milestones coming up or working on something that you're excited about?
I'm just trying to make the best possible videos for myself and growing more
Mm-hmm.
on LinkedIn because I myself have understood the importance and power of LinkedIn in
Mm-hmm.
recent times, like not just for finding jobs, but building a community that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I'm focusing on the most right now, just making the best possible content, packing in as much value as possible in the least amount of time to people who take out their precious time to watch my content. So I really respect people who really watch it because there are hundreds of different creators out there,
True,
right?
true.
And you
Hmm.
can literally get information anywhere, but people still take out the time to watch it. And I think that's one of the things that I'm the most grateful for. So I'm just going to do justice by them, trying to make it as good as possible and just keep doing that.
Oh, that's great to know once again, Jugal. And that's it from my side. If there is anything that you would just like to say to the departing audience, that would be great. But I would just like to say that this conversation really felt like a good coffee table conversation as I had initially expected. Thank you for being so natural and letting
Yeah,
out all of your brain. Let me pick your brain so naturally. So thank you for
of
that.
course. And like another thing is like if anyone is watching this by this point, if you've made it this far and like watched us
Hmm.
talk and blabber for like 40 minutes, you guys are the real ones, and thank you so much for watching it. There might be a subscribe or a follow button somewhere. Do hit
Yeah.
that. And yeah,
Yeah.
we'll try to make the best possible content for you guys, pack in as much as value. And thank you for having me so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jugal, and all the best for all the adventures that you are up
Yep.
to. Wishing the best and rooting for you from here in India. Whenever you
Yep.
are back here, we'll definitely love to meet you here. So,
Thank you
yeah,
so much. It really means a
thanks.
lot. And all the best to you as well.
Yeah, all right.
Yep. Bye.